Imagine for a moment, you are chasing after more money, more friends, more time. Everything around you says this is the key to happiness. But what if it isn't? What if the true secret lies not in more, but in less? Have you ever wondered how many of the things you pursue actually make sense for your happiness? Modern society preaches this constant race. We want more success, more status, more recognition. But deep down, does this fill the emptiness we sometimes feel? Or does it just push us into an endless spiral, where the more we have, the more we want? What if, instead of adding, we started to remove? Think with me. How much time do you spend on things that, in the end, don't even matter? How many distractions rob you of time, drain your energy, without offering anything of real value in return? The truth is that often less is more. Fewer things to manage, fewer toxic people around us, fewer distractions. Have you ever tried saying no to excess? Now imagine the opposite, a simpler, lighter life. What would you eliminate to make room for what really matters? Have you noticed how excuses can infiltrate our minds, almost without us realizing it? It's easy to say, I don't have time, I'm not good enough, or, the circumstances don't favor me. But are those excuses real or just stories we tell ourselves to avoid the discomfort of growth? People who are masters at making excuses are usually not masters at much else. Because every time we use an excuse, we stop taking control. We put the power in the hands of circumstances, others, the world. But what if, instead, you took the reins and said, this depends on me? Of course, life is hard. Situations are indeed out of our control. But here's the secret. Taking responsibility for what you can control is what separates ordinary people from extraordinary ones. When you believe in your own ability, when you develop true self-efficacy, something powerful happens. Suddenly, obstacles don't seem so insurmountable and excuses lose their strength. Now think, what excuse are you telling yourself that is holding you back? Remember, taking small steps toward your dreams, even if imperfect, is infinitely better than being stuck, trapped in your justifications. What can you do today, right now, to challenge that limiting belief that is holding you back? Have you ever found yourself endlessly scrolling through your phone, immersed in an infinite sequence of bad news, empty posts, and distractions? This has a name, doom scrolling. And, without us realizing it, it consumes minutes that quickly turn into hours. In the end, what do we gain from this? More anxiety? More mental fatigue? Social media has bombarded us with an avalanche of information, and most of it is negative or irrelevant. Each alarming news update, each sensational post is an invitation to a vicious cycle of worry and distraction. Ironically, the more we consume, the less we feel truly informed or satisfied. Now, think with me, how much of this content really adds anything to your life? How many of the pieces of information you consume every day make you feel happier, more fulfilled, or more at ease? The answer is almost always nothing. So, why not disconnect a little? What if you turned off those notifications that pop up every second, calling your attention as if they were urgent? What would happen if you got rid of influencers who, instead of inspiring you, only make you feel worse? Imagine using that time differently. Instead of scrolling through your feed, how about writing in a journal, reflecting on your day, or simply reconnecting with yourself? What could you achieve if you were less worried about what's happening on social media and more focused on what really matters? The question is, do you control your time, or does doom scrolling control you? Have you ever caught yourself looking at someone else's life and thinking, why isn't my life like that? Comparison is a sneaky trap, and on social media, it gains strength. We see the best that people choose to share, the moments of success, dream vacations, perfect smiles. But what don't we see? The sacrifices, challenges, and internal struggles that aren't posted. The problem is that by comparing ourselves to this edited snapshot of someone else's life, we create a distortion. We are comparing our complete journey, with its ups and downs, mistakes, and lessons, to a carefully filtered version of someone else's life. That's not fair. And that's certainly not healthy. What if, instead of measuring yourself by someone else's standards, you started comparing yourself only to who you were yesterday? That's the only comparison that really makes sense. You against your previous self. Every small step forward, every little achievement is a victory, yours and no one else's. Imagine how liberating it would be to focus on your own progress, ignoring the external noise. After all, each of us has a unique path, full of experiences and opportunities that belong only to us. So, the next time you feel that pressure to compare, ask yourself, am I being fair to myself? What did I do today that made me better than I was yesterday? Remember, the true victory isn't being better than others, it's being better than you were before. Have you noticed how some people seem to drain your energy? Instead of celebrating your achievements or supporting your dreams, they find ways to bring you down? These are the toxic people. Those who, even subtly, drain your motivation, undermine your confidence, and often make you question your own achievements. True friends are different. They celebrate your victories, even the smallest ones, and stand by you when things fall apart. And when you find this kind of person, everything flows naturally. But what do you do with those who bring the opposite? Those with whom you feel you have to walk on eggshells, afraid to share your joys, scared of being judged? The truth is that it's not always possible to eliminate these people from our lives. After all, they might be coworkers, family members, or individuals we need to interact with. But you can control how much of yourself you give to them. Minimizing interaction is an act of self-care. Have you ever stopped to think about how much impact these people have on your emotional well-being? What if, instead of trying to please them or justify your choices, you simply reduce the space they occupy in your life? You deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift you, who share your happiness, and who, even in the toughest moments, are there to support you. What are you waiting for to take that step and protect your energy from negative influences?